You would think it couldn't get any better.
Yeah.
And yet it does. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani did his best to pump up the crowd last night, promising them what he did for New York, Trump will do for America. What'd you think of that?
Well, I think he stole that. He stole that speech from Mussolini.
What I remember about, I'm a native New Yorker. What I remember about Giuliani is that he, was sort of responsible for stop and frisk in New York, and all of the black and brown men in New York were harassed for many, many years. But Jet said yesterday that you really liked Giuliani.
I did, because what I remember about Giuliani is that before Giuliani, you were afraid to walk around in a lot of parts of New York, and what he did is, I looked up some stats, violent crime rate dropped by 56% during his 8 years, murder down nearly 2/3, robbery down
also,
67%,
there was a trend.
Aggravated assault down 28%. Anyone who lived in New York, I'm a New Yorker, I'm from New York, anyone who lives in New York knows that there was a major crime problem before he existed, that when he came in, he cleaned up a lot. And anybody who was here during 9/11, and I was caught up in that too, he knew that he unified.
He didn't unify. What he did was he was on his way out, and he did what any mayor should have done, which was to say, hold on, I got you, Bloomy. We're going to do this thing. We'll get through this transition together. He's got a lot of nerve. What you did for this country and what you did for a lot of Latino and black Americans, you should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm sorry. And as a native New Yorker, been here as long as he has, we go up and down in our state, in our city. We go up and down. Crime goes up, crime goes down. He might have had something to do with it,
he took
but
a lot
it's
of credit.
not. He took all the credit, and it's not all him.
And he
there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people. Yes, he did. He tramped on a lot of rights. But he also says, and this is my favorite, I took 600,000 people off welfare in New York. Liar. You didn't do that. The federal government said we got to make changes in the welfare system. You didn't do jack, man. And I know that, and I know how you feel about people because I've heard you the last couple of days. You talked about Black Lives Matter as being a racist organization. Did you see the face of the people who are marching, you bonehead?
Easy.
Did you see it?
Easy, girl.
This wasn't just black people. This wasn't just white people. This was a nation of people of all kinds of colors marching to make the country better. And what are you doing? Stirring the pot.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, please, listen, I give credit where credit is due. I don't mind, a lot of stuff happens, so we don't like all of it. But when you stand up and you act like you did it all by yourself, I have to call you out. You didn't do it all by yourself. No. The people of New York City helped you do what you did. We have more when we get back.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on Giuliani because I did like this speech. Two things. One thing is, I agree with you. I think under him, New Yorkers did come together. But I think a large part of that was that he supported the police force. The police force at that time felt that he had their back. They felt like they could go out there, do their jobs, and they weren't demoralized. And I think there's a lot of periods in history where a lot of police, not only in New York but elsewhere, felt like no one had their back. I think that was key. And the other thing is, with respect to the speech last night, what I liked about it is the theme of the night was to keep America, or make America safe again. And he got angry. But he got angry at ISIS. He got angry at terrorists, and that's something that I think has been missing.
There's these gun manufacturers.
But you know what? One thing that's been missing from President Obama, got angry at who?
At gun manufacturers, at the NRA.
There's a difference between getting angry at the NRA and getting angry at ISIS. One thing that's been missing in foreign policy is that people look at President Obama. I will tell you the difference in a second, but people look at President Obama and feel he's not angry. He gets angry when he campaigns. He gets angry
all the way.
I want him angry. No, I want him angry.
Every time, and don't save your emails because I don't care. people have to make up their minds, because when he gets angry, everybody's like, well, you know, he's an angry black man.
Yeah. No, I want him angry at terrorists.
But, you know, everybody says that, but they don't mean it.
I do.
Because when he gets pissed, nobody wants to hear it.
Not to mention, I don't think that Giuliani struck a tone of leadership. He was ranting. He looked nutty. He was screaming. I want my president to be like, President Obama. I want somebody that's you know, sort of middle of the line, thoughtful, reasonable.
Thoughtful and reasonable. Thoughtful and reasonable.
Presidential.
No, thoughtful and reasonable does not work with ISIS, though. Thoughtful and reasonable works with us.
But you know, Obama has a demeanor that's very comforting to people. He doesn't go berserk.
It's also comforting to some people who want to hurt this country.
Yeah,
it's comforting to Vladimir Putin.
But the one
it's comforting to Iran.
So yelling at them is going to do it.
Okay, ding, ding. The one thing that was really frustrating about watching last night is I found in the climate of our times right now, we needed more of a moderate attitude in regard to mood. And the one thing that I left with after that was this was so angry, so divisive, and it fed off the base of the party, not some of the other people that normally have messages. It's not all to one extreme, but I found they were, like when they were calling Obama, oh, he's not even a Christian, they were going after really low-hanging fruit, but it seemed to feed the group there, and it just got so, almost like it was a mob mentality.
That idiot,
so
who is it?
Giuliani, there are times he speaks, I didn't like that he went so angry, because it fed
Who's the idiot?
I will also say, let's look up Bernie Kerik, okay, who was the head of the police at the time, was his chief.
Right.
Okay?
He went to jail.
I believe, yes, he did go to jail, you know. And I'm just saying, you know, I'm thinking of Abner Louima and all those other crazy things that we had going on. It might have been safe for some people. It wasn't safe for everybody.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't safe for everybody. And, you know, he was our mayor, and he did the job that he did. But to take all of that credit, and it's not that police didn't feel that their backs weren't had. You know, there became that code of silence again, where you couldn't hear anything, that there was no transparency with the police department or anybody else. Now, the guys who have come since, it's gotten better. Is it perfect? No, it's not, but it's not as bad as it was with Giuliani. As a person who grew up here, like you've been here, I feel that way.
You have to see it from another point of view, from a non-white person's point of view. It's not the same as a white person's point of view.
A white person's point of view?
No, it's not. I mean, if you're the victim of police brutality, then you have a different point of view.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just looking at the stats, and I'm just looking at my own personal experience. But I think it does show that, I mean, we both grew up in New York and had a very different perception and are able to sit at this table and talk about it.
My perception of the police has always been great. I grew up with great police officers, which is why I have police officers in my life to this day. But I also know how they were treated by Giuliani.
Who, the cops?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were not thrilled with him.
No.
They were not thrilled with him or Bernie, but I'm not talking about Bernie because Bernie's not here.
Not Bernie Sanders, another Bernie.
Not Bernie Sanders.
Not Joyce.
When you say Bernie, I think of my Bernie.
There are more than one white Bernard.
Not to me. There's only Bernie Sanders.
All right. So you know what? We're going and coming back because we're just having a hell of a time today. We'll be right back.